Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 8 of Dreamy Cloud Island. Today, I am working on the area outside of Dom's house. I decided to keep him because I love the way he does so many zoomies all the time. You can see here from the map that I'm in the very top right-hand corner of the island. And for today's theme, I wanted to work on a floating toy shop in front of Dom's house. While working on this kid core themed type of area, I did want to stick with as many pastel colors as I could, but also incorporate a lot of other colors as the toys in the game are very cheerful and have all sorts of color. But the big thing that's making a difference in this particular area is that I am using the new blocks from the Mario collection. I was trying to imagine what a toy area could be if it was going to be in a dreamy cloud island. It couldn't just be a bunch of toys. I thought, how nice if they were actually floating toys. So I'm putting some of them all the way up on these beautiful blocks that float in the air. And I thought that that gave the area an extra amount of playfulness to go with the toy theme. I really like the way that they scattered about and created a very cool look. I've learned from the previous areas that putting the flowers down earlier is actually a little bit easier, so I don't have to pick up so many items. So I decided I would stop and put the flowers in the area first. And I still did have to move a couple of the blocks and learned a little bit about how the custom patterns go down onto the area under the blocks, which was kind of funny. I really like the way that the flowers give some beautiful pastel color to the kid core themed island that I'm doing. Even though the flowers wouldn't really grow up in the clouds, it is an imaginary dream world, so we can do whatever we want. I like the way that the blocks float, but wow, are they difficult to put items on top. It can be really tricky to try and get exactly the right angle so that the item that you are holding goes up onto that block. And maybe I just am not seeing it very well, or I'm not very good at it, but it is a little bit harder to do than I thought it would be. You can see here as I start to put items down on top of the blocks what I'm talking about, as it's difficult to get things in the right spot. And a couple of the items went down just fine. I thought, okay, no problem, and that's easy. And then it got real tricky and I couldn't figure out why the things weren't working. So I have no good advice other than good luck and keep at it. That's the end of my advice for getting things on the floating blocks. I also wanted to incorporate a couple of the confetti machines from the festival items because I really do think that the little confetti shooting out would be fun. I thought of putting them all the way on the block that's floating, but then I didn't know how to turn it on, so I went ahead and just hid them between a couple of the blocks that I already had, and that worked really well for what I was trying to do. So here you can see I'm trying to put the helicopter down on top of this block, and then I'm trying to put the books down, and I thought, well, maybe the helicopter doesn't work, which I've discovered is the case, but I knew the puzzle worked, and see what I'm talking about, just getting the items down in the right spot. But eventually I persevered and I got exactly what I wanted down on each of the blocks the way that I wanted it to, even though it did take a little bit more work than I thought. Here you can see I am also scattering about a lot of other toys that are a little larger, the slide and the scooter and such. I just wanted it to be this really beautiful, playful area full of the kind of light and toys if you were going to be a little kid just running through this dreamy area full of toy shop fun. And I liked the way that it worked. So I did also change out a couple of the toys so that some of the Nova lights were sitting all the way on top of the floating blocks. And that's because I still wanted to have a lot of that starry cloud kind of shimmery look still throughout all of the area. I can remember being full of wonder when I went into toy shops as a child, and that is the emotion that I was playing on as I was putting this particular area together. I really wanted it to be full of imagination and wonder, the type of toy area that could really just fill a child full of joy and imagination if they were going to come and go through it. So very eclectic and very random and full of toys and full of fun. I think it actually came together really well once I started filling it up full of all the toys, but the floating blocks with the toys on top are what really gave the area all of its character. After putting just some of the basic toys in place, I did come back through with all of the Nova lights and with some of the star fragments just like before. I wanted to add a little bit more shine and a little bit more to the area just like I did with previous areas. I put some of the bubbles in my pocket because I thought it might be fun to drop those in the area so that during the dream address somebody could pick them up and play with them. But I decided that they would actually look a little out of place and they might be hard to see if they were just in this area. So I kept them in my pocket, and instead I'm going to put the bubbles up by resident services. All right, you guys, let's take a look as we walk through the final tour of the area. I love the pop-up books when they're open, all the confetti blowing around, and the blocks up floating in the air. I really think it came together just like I imagined. And then a quick tour through the area at night. Just like the previous areas, you can see all of the nice, pretty things that shine and bring a lot of really good nighttime character to the areas. I hope that you guys found something useful here and that you continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.